It was my third month as a night security guard at the Johnson office complex, an aging building with a history as long as its hallways. This particular night was like any other, quiet and mostly uneventful, a perfect match for the still darkness outside. Around 2 a.m., I sat in my small, cramped office monitoring the CCTV feeds. That's when I noticed something odd. The elevator was moving, and not just randomly, but decisively, going to the 13th floor. The building had only 12 floors. At least, that's what was on the official layout and what I had always known. Yet the elevator panel was displaying 13 as its destination. Ignoring the knot of dread in my stomach, I decided to investigate. Armed with my flashlight and a shaky sense of courage, I took the stairs, each step echoing through the stairwell. When I reached the 12th floor, to my utter shock, I found another set of stairs leading up to a door marked 13. I hesitated but pushed the door open. I was hit by a chilling wave of air, like walking into a freezer. The hallway looked like any other in the building, fluorescent lights, beige walls, a water cooler, but it was eerily quiet. As I cautiously made my way down the hallway, checking the empty offices one by one, I heard a whisper, "Over here." It was my own name, called out in a hushed tone that made my skin crawl. I spun around and saw a shadowy figure at the end of the hall, just standing there, watching me. Heart pounding in my chest, I turned and sprinted back towards the stairs. As I descended, I heard footsteps chasing after me, but I didn't dare look back. When I reached the safety of my security office, I slammed the door shut and locked it. I checked the elevator on the CCTV, and it was back on the ground floor, sitting there as if nothing had happened. I quit my job the next day. No job was worth risking whatever was lurking on that phantom floor. You'd think that being a security guard at a corporate building would be uneventful, but oh, you'd be wrong. I remember one Saturday night that still sends shivers down my spine. I was doing my usual rounds when the elevator chimed its arrival on the ground floor. That was odd, as the building was mostly empty. I walked over to find that the doors had opened, but there was no one inside. My eyes were drawn to the button for the unused 13th floor. It was glowing, as if someone had just pressed it. Now, I've always been a curious person, so I decided to ride the elevator up to the 13th floor to investigate. Armed with my flashlight, I stepped into the elevator and made my ascent. The 13th floor was largely abandoned, and I had never really had a reason to go up there. When the doors opened, an unsettling silence greeted me. I cautiously walked out, shining my flashlight down the seemingly endless hallway. Just then, a whisper came through the stale air, "You shouldn't be here." I felt a chill run down my spine. I quickly retreated to the elevator and punched the button for the ground floor. When I got back to the security desk, I decided to check the CCTV footage. And that's when my heart nearly stopped. The cameras had caught someone dressed as a maintenance worker earlier in the day, rigging up speakers in the hallway of the 13th floor. It turned out the whisper was a pre-recorded message triggered to play. Who would go to such lengths for a twisted prank? After quitting my job at the office complex, I took up a position as a security guard at Willowbrook Mall. The mall itself was expansive, with a food court, various retail outlets, and a small indoor amusement area for kids, complete with arcade games and a carousel. Weeks went by without incident, but I always felt uneasy whenever my rounds took me through the amusement area, especially late at night. Then, one fateful night around 3 a.m., as I was walking past the carousel, it suddenly burst into life, lights, music, the works. I rushed to the control panel, which was locked in a box that only I had the key for. As I reached for my keys, I heard it, a childlike laughter echoing through the empty space. It felt like the laugh was surrounding me, as if coming from the walls themselves. I unlocked the control panel and pressed the emergency stop button. The carousel shuddered to a halt. But just as I was about to leave, the shooting game in the arcade section spontaneously began firing. Alarmed, I returned to my office to review the CCTV footage. Maybe it was an electrical glitch, I thought. But what I saw on that footage made my blood run cold. For just a split second, as the carousel started, there was a man visible on one of the horses. He was laughing maniacally and waving, as if inviting me to join the ride. I knew then that something sinister was at play. I requested a transfer the very next day, vowing never to return to that amusement area again.